Here, let me know when it's done.
Here we go.
We have a guest speaker today. It is a Garmin Pro staff, DJ Kirby. He is here to talk to us about how to best set up our depth finders and how to read depth finders. And then our next meeting will be January 28th, and we will give out some more information as the time comes. Our special guest.
Hey,
Ryan.
hey guys. How's it going? I encourage everybody on this side of the room to come over here because we're going to be watching a video, and I want you guys to be able to check this out. But I'm Kirby Ham. Everybody say hi, Kirby. Hi, Kirby. All right, you guys know me, and I know you now. This is an open forum, so feel free at any given time to interrupt me, raise your hand with a question, that sort of thing, and I will do my best to answer the questions, because honestly, some of the questions may be technically above my pay grade, or I just might not know them. So I'm pretty open, I'm pretty honest, and I'm very excited to be here. And first and foremost, I want you guys to give yourselves a big round of applause for being involved in this club. Go ahead, give it up for yourselves. You know, keeping the young people fishing and keeping the conservation of the sport of fishing going is what's going to make this enjoyable for everybody, not only now, but especially in the future as well. So kudos to you guys. I got a question out there. I know you guys love to fish. Am I right? Make some noise? Yes. What's the biggest fish you ever caught?
Joey, what is it?
I don't know.
What about the biggest fish you ever caught?
I don't know.
You don't know? You guys, who's ever caught a big one out there? Yeah, what about you? 413. 413, a bass, I assume? And you? You don't know? What about you? Who's caught one this big? Who's caught one this big? Couple people. Who's caught one this big? Couple people. What'd you catch? Huh?
Pretty big catfish.
Nice. Well, I tell you what. Fishing is my passion. So I make my living on the radio. I don't know if you guys, who out there has ever listened to Mix 93.3? Anybody listen to Mix 93.3? I was on that station for about 10 years. Then for the last 10 years, I've been on 95.7 The Vibe. Anybody listen to 95.7 The Vibe? I do the mix shows on Saturday night. So DJ Kirby, that's how I make my money. But how I take my relaxation and my downtime and my hobby is fishing. And I took that fishing hobby, and I was lucky enough and educated enough. Okay, I can't stress education enough. I was educated enough to take my hobby and make it into a money-making business. And that's kind of why I'm here. I've been honored with the privilege of representing Garmin, who, in my opinion, is one of the foremost front runners in the sonar department, and the chart plotters and wearables and tracking devices and GPS in general. So Garmin's a great local company. I'm glad to be on board with them, and I'd like to share my knowledge with you guys on some of the Garmin fish finders. Okay, I know there's a couple other companies out there. There's Lowrance, there's Humminbird, all of them great companies, and I've had all of them, believe it or not. I've had Lowrance, I've had the Humminbird, I've had the Humminbird 360, and now I'm very honored for the last 6 years to have been on the Garmin team and come up the ranks of their, basically I would say their flagship development, which is called Panoptics, and it's a form of sonar. Anybody know what sonar is out there? Give me a shot. Here's the deal. If you guys answer some of my questions, I've got some free prizes for you guys. I've got some hats, got some goodies in my pocket. My man, what's your name?
Rig, and I believe it's like finding stuff through cameras and
That's close. That's close.
That's terrible.
No, that's all right. I appreciate the effort. Here, I'm gonna give you a braid cutter ring. All right, if you guys fish, I know you guys fish for bass, right? And I'll hang around you for a little bit, but then I got to go because I'm a crappie fisherman myself. All right? So, Webster's dictionary defines bass fisherman as opposed to crappie fisherman as bass fishermen will actually attend a crappie fisherman's fish fry. You're supposed to laugh. But hey, you're very close. All right, it's basically sonar is determining what's underneath the water. You want to add to it?
Echolocation?
What's that?
Echolocation.
Echolocation. That is absolutely right. What's your name?
Jonas.
Jonas. And what are they sending out? Does anybody know what they're sending out? That echoes back to the
Sound waves.
sound waves. That's right. And what's your name?
Joey.
All right, Joey. Good catch. Nice catch, Joey. Okay, so they're sending out a frequency of waves to determine what's coming back. And you can do that for several different reasons. You can do that to determine your depth. You can do that to determine if there's fish around. You can determine if there's structure there. All sorts of different things. And Garmin has come up with this technology that shoots the sonar out in live time so fast that you can actually see what direction the fish are swimming. Okay, and it's called panoptics. And it came out about 4 years ago, and then about 2 years ago they added the upgrade to Panoptics, which is called LiveScope. Who's ever heard of LiveScope? Okay, we're going to talk about LiveScope. We're going to talk about basic imaging from a sonar, which is considered like this right here. This is like what every fish finder has. It's just your basic sonar display, and it's reading the bottom right here. You can kind of see it's scrolling along and telling you what's beneath you. All right. This is a kind of a higher end of that, and that's called down imaging, and it's sending a higher frequency so you get more detail. Okay. And then this is, anybody know what this is? Side imaging. Good answer right there. All right. So, and what is this called? This is called the ultimate live scope, right? And that is the end-all be-all in the industry right now. Anybody out there, how do you send these signals? Anybody know how you send the signals? What's the tool that sends the signals underwater? Anybody want to take a stab at it? Usually goes on your boat somewhere. You mount it sometimes in the back, sometimes in the front, sometimes on the trolling motor. Transducer! All right. Did you know that? Did you know that too? All right, here's one for you, man. Oh, another good catch. I tell you what, Basehor Linwood High School's got some good athletes. Not only fishing athletes, but you guys on the football team or baseball team or anything? Some pretty good catches. So the transducer, that is what mounts onto the boat. The transducer sends the signals down to the bottom or sends them out in front of the boat, which we're doing here with LiveScope, or it sends it to the side. Those waves are reflected off of it and bounced back. All right, and then once they're bounced back to the transducer, then they send it to your head units. And these are what you call your chart plotters and your head units. And they come in different sizes and different shapes, in different price ranges, of course. And usually it's one of those things where the bigger they are, the more expensive they are. So you guys stay in school. Keep yourself educated so you can get a college degree, make some money, and afford some of these nice fish finders. All right? And the other thing is, who out there ever has the dream of being a professional fisherman? Wouldn't that be the end-all be-all, to be a professional athlete, professional fisherman, something like that? You guys would like to do that? The best advice that I can give you guys, if you were wanting to take that route, and seriously, is milk your parents for that college education as long as you possibly can. Because you cannot be a professional fisherman in this day and age without being smart, okay? And being able not only to fish, but sometimes the best people that are winning these tournaments aren't the best fishermen. They're the smartest, okay? And that's why I need you guys to stay in school, because it can make a difference. And I know that there's colleges all around the nation right now that are offering what? Fishing scholarships. How cool would it be to go to college on a fishing scholarship? You know what I mean? You go to class, you go fishing afterwards. Wouldn't that be nice? It'd be nice for your parents too, because they wouldn't have to pay all that out-of-state tuition. So stay in school, educate yourself on business classes, because when you do become a professional fisherman, you're going to want to have to know how to, manage that. You're going to have to know how to edit. So keep yourself in some media design type classes, all right? Because you're going to have to know how to chop up videos to keep your YouTube channel, to keep your income coming in when it's not fishing season. There's all sorts of things. Computer classes. Who's taking computer classes out there? Anybody? Take some computer classes, because basically these are miniature computers on your boat. So if you don't know how to operate them, you're not going to know where the fish are, right? So I'm going to take a little time, a little break here, and I'm going to show you a video I did because I'm sure you're probably already sick of my talking. But this is a really neat, short little video, and then we'll come back and do some hands-on stuff. We'll answer some questions, let you come up here and play with these, and I'm going to stick around, and as long as you guys will have me, we'll answer some questions. But this is a video that I did that I thought personally would be pretty unique and pretty topical for you guys to watch on how I pre-fish a lake to try to find where the fish are for a tournament. Because I know you guys are going to be competing in tournaments, am I right?
Yeah.
All right. So this is a neat little thing, you know, because you got to go where the fish are. All right. And Garmin lets you know where the fish are. And I'm going to let you see this in this short little, it's a 14-minute video, but I think we're only going to shut it off about 7 minutes. So you can guys see how I set up my screens, how I use my side imaging, and then how I use the trolling motor and the live scope to come back. And actually, how you can see live scope actually work like a video game. Any video game players out there? Anybody like video games? Fishing in this day and age is literally a video game. One of the Bassmasters tournaments this year was won by a Garmin Pro. Guess how many casts he made the day of the tournament? Anyone take a guess?
5.
5? You think he made 5? Who said 100 and something? Yeah. Anybody else want to take a cast? Get it.
7.
Huh?
7.
7? No.
2,500.
200. Normally, on average, all right, on a tournament, any particular day, a professional fisherman is throwing anywhere from 500 to 1,000 casts, all right? So you guys got to stay in shape, too. You don't want that arm breaking down halfway to the tournament. This Garmin Pro made 64 casts. 64 casts. You know what's take a stab at how many fish you caught? Anybody?
27.
He caught 52 fish. That is an average higher than 88%. So you know how he was doing it? He knew where the fish were going to be. He snuck up on them on live scope, got within casting range, and put that bait right in front of their face, and they could not resist it. Now when I crappie fish, that's what I do. I get right on top of them. I drop straight down because I'm usually fishing 25 to 30 feet, and I won't spook them. Bass fishermen have to go a little bit shallower, so you're going to have to, find out where your bass are, like I'm going to do here with the side imaging, then sneak back around them and cast to those shallows. Because if you go in shallow, you're going to spook those bass. Watch this video, and then I'll work on that a little bit.
All right, guys, we've got the hack cam going here, and I'm going to show you how easy it is. Let's see if I can get this tilted a little bit better like that. Hopefully. Here's how I set up the screen, all right? I like to use my side imaging, my traditional, and my charts. And if you look at this number 6, you can see what I've done. I'll zoom in here. If you look at this number 6, I just found that spot. And how I did it was, I knew that the fish are going to be somewhere between 21, 22, 23 feet. Now I know it says 23 and 26 over here, but Clinton is flooded about 8 or 9 feet, so that's actually 31 feet. So I want to stay in 22 feet. Now what I did was you can see my track. I went up past that spot and I saw it on the side imaging. Let me show you first off how I create the actual combo. So I go into combos, I go to customize, I hit add. I'm going to use the combo right here. That's the one I just used. In empty, you touch it, you go to Sonar, you go to side view. All right, empty, charts, fishing charts, my favorite. You got your fishing charts. Then Sonar, go traditional. Now you can also put in your live scope or anything like that, but I've got my live scope mounted to my trolling motor. So it doesn't do me any good when I'm moving, unless I'm moving really slow and have the trolling motor in the water. As you can see, I went over the spot, and this is where we're at in live time, and right there is that brush pile. And you can see that there's a lot of fish on it. What you can do is you can actually hit that screen and see there's some brush piles right there with some fish on it. You can actually hit pause right here, and then you can take your finger and drag it on any of these cursors right here. All right, and of course we want to take it and zoom in right here on this brush pile, and then put that cursor right there. Go up here to waypoint, hit waypoint, and that's number 6 should be right on top of the one we just created. So there's a good little tutorial how to do it. Now what we can do is we can go back to our combos, and we can just go to the Sonar, and we'll just turn around and go right back to that brush pile, which is right here. See, I noticed that I put a couple of spots right on that brush pile because it looked like there was a lot of fish. So then what I like to do, take into consideration the wind's coming from this way, so what I want to do is come in from the back side of that brush pile that we just drove around. Right there they are. If you take a look, right there, those are the brush piles. So I want to come in on the back side, even though I kind of already already drove over them. Those crappie are like quail. They'll come back to that covey, or they'll come back to that cover with the covey. So we're going to turn, we're going to zoom in, we're going to get adjusted with the wind so that the live scope will have an easier time focusing on those fish, and the trolling motor will have an easier time on the spot log. But basically that big brush pile is right there, 550 and 553. So we'll turn off the engine, come up here, turn this stuff on up here. There's the Garmin live scope, which is fairly dirty. I apologize about that. We'll clean that up. And we'll turn this on. And the wind should push us a little to the left of it. So get that trolling motor down. We'll get the live scope going. We'll hit agree. So we'll just kind of look around here. We want to be in 22 to 23 feet of water, so we're going to go out a little bit deeper. You can kind of see we're right along the dam. See if there's any fish on that spot. Now there they are, right there. Those are the crappie right there. Okay, those are the crappie right off the bottom. And there's the crappie right there. Look at that. Those are all crappie right there, right along the bottom. So basically, we're going to zoom in here a little bit more. We're going to come in a little bit more. Some people like to pitch to them, but I like to be right on top of them. And that's a lot of fish. That's a lot of fish on some structure right there. So we're keep going, we're keep turning, we're seeing it. We're getting close. Oh, there's a big one too. There's some big ones on it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna zoom in now. Just use the trolling motor. What I like to do is take my trolling motor down a notch or two. And then we get a little bit closer, a little bit more. We're kind of right on top of it now, so we're going to hit the spot lock, and then we're going to zoom in on that structure. And that spot lock will keep us right there. You can kind of see we're pretty close, right to where those are, and we're going to dip some minnows, see if we can't catch a crappie. Searching for crappie 101 with Crappie Kirby. Here we go. So grab a couple minnows. There's one, there's two. I like to hook my minnows right through the lips so they can't tell the other fish down there we're gunning for them. Hee hee, old fishing joke. And look, there's 5 big ones on that brush pile right in front of us. Drop down there. Oh, there's a couple of fish. Looking at my bottom jig, and there he is. Boom. Nice one. Nice crappie. Oh my gosh, this is a nice one. Oh, this could be a tournament winner. Look at that crappie. That is a hog. That is a hog daddy. Damn, dude. That is a 14-inch crappie. Woohoo! Look at that. Boom, that'll win some tournaments right there. So we're gonna real gently place him back in there. And that's how you do it. Okay guys, I'm going to drop down, and you'll be able to see me drop down into this brush pile and maybe see a little video game. There I am dropping down, you can see me. And I'm dropping down right on the fish's head. Right now I'm on the fish's head. You can kind of see it bebopping and popping along. I'll work it back here. Oh, there's a fish there. Oh, he's gonna, oh. Now I'm in the brush. Oh, there he is. I got him. You can see him coming up on the screen, and it is a big crappie. It is a big crappie. Maybe not that big, but a crappie nonetheless. And you're not gonna believe this, but that crappie just spit out another minnow. Some good footage of the jig working back and forth there. I just spooked one out of the brush pile. That's not good. Oh, come on, Crappie. Come on, Crappie. I know that's you. That's a crappie right there. And there he is. I got it. He's coming up. Look at that. You can see him on the screen, and he feels like a hog. He feels like a hog. Look at that crappie, baby. Boom! Look at that crappie, baby. Boom! Look at that crappie, baby.
All right, so that's the beauty of LiveScope. It's so easy. It's a video game. Everybody likes video games. Am I right? Yes. Now, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this right now. Okay. Just hit the space bar. Okay.
So I'm free fishing.
I'll just unplug it here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down in. I'm going to break down how I did that. Okay, and you're going to be able to see it here on the television. And I want you guys to take notes, and there'll be a test at the end of this, all right? So we're going to start off with how I did it first. Okay, basically, we're going to go to our fishing chart. Now, on this particular chart, it tells you where you are through a GPS signal. So not only are we monitoring the bottom, but we're monitoring the heavens above, because a satellite is telling us exactly where we are in the lake. And with the topology of Garmin hooked up with Navionics, we're able to tell the depth of the lake. So let's say it's the start of middle of May. Bass are going into the spawn. Where do we want to fish? Anybody want to take a stab where we want to fish? Where do we want to fish? Towards the bank. We want to fish shallow, okay? Because these females want to lay their eggs and the males want to fertilize the eggs so that they can have more bass babies. Am I right? So we want to be anywhere from 4 to 5 feet out. So are we close to it right now? No. Whoa, we're out here in 35 foot of water. We're not going to catch bass one. So what we need to do is bring it up here to about this. Each one of these lines and the division of the line represents 1 foot. If you notice, it's 24 feet right here, but if you go up 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, it's 20 foot right here. Now, when all these lines get up here, what is that telling us? It's telling us what? It is getting shallower and shallower, but with all these lines stacked up on top of one another, anybody want to take a stab at what it's telling us? It's a strong slope. It means it's very deep. See, whenever you have the lines of your sonar and your charts real tight together, that means it's steepest. Where is it the steepest at, guys? Where's the steepest? Anybody want to take a stab? Am I hot? Am I hot? Am I cold? Am I hot? I'm hot, right there. That is a huge drop-off right there. Now, not necessarily would we want that. If we're going to fish bass, and we're going to fish them during the spawn, when the water's warming up, because all the temperature and everything has to be right, we want a gradual thing. So what we would do, where would we go? We'd go up into one of these coves where the lines are very far away from one another. Right here, where it goes up to 1 to 3 feet. This little flat right here is where all your bass would be. Now, another thing, if you guys want to be phenomenal fishermen, take biology classes, okay? Who's in biology here at the high school or the middle school? Study those classes. Find out how fish work. Find out how animals work, because everything is tied together in nature, all right, through biology. So these fish up in this cove, this water is going to get warmer quicker than this water here at this deep ledge, okay? So this is where you'd want to start fishing for bass. Okay, so we take our boat and we drive it over to this particular area. Now, we don't want to waste any time because we're in a tournament, right? Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to put on our side imaging sonar. Doesn't matter if it's Lowrance, doesn't matter if it's Humminbird, doesn't matter if it's Garmin, all right? Whatever you guys use is what you guys use. Someday you'll be able to, fish the best Garmin. And I encourage that to, just ask those parents for birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, that sort of stuff. But what you're going to do is you're going to take your side imaging, all right? And what you're going to do is you're going to take your boat over here, okay? And you're just real slowly going to drive by. You don't want to get too close because you don't want to spook them, right? We're real simply going to just drive real slow, like 4 to 5 miles per hour. That's the best. Okay? Then what's it's going to look like, you're going to switch over to your side imaging screen, which is under your sonar. So we're going to go sonar, then we're going to go side view. Okay? Now, this is our side. We're driving the boat. We're going real slow, 4 to 5 miles per hour. Now take a look at this. This is the right side of the boat. This is the left side of the boat. And look what we're seeing. We're seeing all these little jagged things right here. Am I right? All these little things. Anybody want to take a stab what those are? Weeds and grass. That's right. How deep are we? Anybody want to take a step? 14, that's right, you got it. So we're in 14 feet of water, okay? So now if you take a look, which side do we want to fish? Left or right? We probably want to fish to the left. This is the boat. We're right here, we're driving by, and remember, one of the best tools you guys can have on your boat, I want everybody to raise their hand and swear that you'll have this on your boat. All right, everybody raise your hand. Say, I will invest in some buoy markers, okay? You got to have a buoy marker, okay? Because when you drive over brush like this, okay? Like right here's some brush right here. What I'm going to do right now, I'm like, oh, there's some solid brush right there. And see this little speck right there? That little highlighted specks, those are fish that are staying close to that brush. There's not a lot of fish there. Okay, now look at this. Anybody want to take a stab at what that is? Somebody's thrown in a bunch of tires. Those are tires. Without a doubt, that is a big cluster of tires that people have put together to make fish structure. Without a doubt. You can completely tell that those are circular tires. All right? So we're driving along. So we saw that circular tires. And see all these little dot? All those little white things? Those are the air bladders reflecting off the sonar of big fish. So the second, when we were right here, and we drove past that, and we saw it on the screen, we're getting excited. And we're taking that buoy marker and throwing it on the right side of the boat, exactly where you just drove over, okay? Because that is going to let you come back around, and you'll know where those bass are, right in that general vicinity. And that's where you want to work that sonar really, really good. Now, once you see that spot, you definitely want to go like this, and go bang, hit mark. Because you want to remember that is some type of structure that some yahoo threw a whole bunch of rubber tires in the lake to create fish structure. Okay? All right? So you want to mark that by hitting the mark button. And what that does is it makes it number 96. All right? Tells you, then you just say, hey, you're going to go back. So we've got spot number 96 back. So then the next time we go out, maybe we forget where we were. We can go to our chart. All right, and we can go here and we can look where spot number 95 and 96 is, and we can get to it. So if we're coming from the boat ramp or the marina, we're driving, and then boom, right there, those are those marks that we just created. They're called what? Anybody? Waypoints. Everybody say waypoints. Waypoints. All right, or marks. They're called waypoints, but on the Garmin stuff, they're called marks. And so that little button right there marks where we're going to be. Okay, here's a question.
When you show up to a new lake, do you typically look at paper map and see based on paper map, and then you go there and look on?
It's an excellent question. We're going to give you probably the end-all be-all prize, which is the Crappie Kirby hat. All right. Okay. So he wants to know when we're fishing a new lake. Okay. When we're fishing a new lake, two things most important. All right. Educating yourself on that lake, and what's the second thing? Computers, all right? Keep your computer skills honed, all right? Who's taking computer classes out there, all right? Best thing you can absolutely positively do is go on the internet and study that lake. Here's what I do. When I'm going to a new lake and I'm studying it that I've never fished, I take into consideration the time of the year, whether it's winter, fall, spring, summer, whatever the case may be. Then I take my common knowledge of bass, or in this case crappie, and I say to myself, where are these crappie going to be when it's 100 degrees in July and I'm in Arkansas, and I've never fished Arkansas before, all right? So my common knowledge is they're going to be deep. They're going to be trying to get away from the sun because it's hot outside, all right? And when it's a sunny day, they have to have structure to kind of hide in so that they don't get eaten and so that they can find minnows. Then I'm going to go on the internet, and two things I'm going to do. I'm going to look up a lake view, all right? All right, so let's see what this lake is. This is Harrisonville City Lake. So I'm going to go to the internet, and I'm going to find the Harrison City Lake. And I know it looks like that, okay? So, am I going to fish down here? No. Who thinks I'm going to fish down here? No. Who thinks I'm going to fish up here? No? Remember, these crappie are going to be deep. They're going to be anywhere from 18 to 25 feet. Who thinks I'm going to fish like right in here?
Yeah.
Absolutely I am. You know why? Because these fish just came from spawning in April and May. And this is a great little lake where it's got a long, almost like a river type thing. And this is the first spot where it gets deep enough for them to be comfortable. Okay? One thing that you can look for in your sonar, and I'll go back to this particular menu right now in conjunction to answering your question. One particular thing that you can look for in your sonar, okay, I'm going to put it up right here, and I'm going to, it's in night mode right now. But right now we are looking at the bottom. One thing you can look for is a thing that basically is a fuzzy type feature, like this right here. And it'll go across the screen. And basically, that's called the thermocline. Anybody know what thermocline is? It's very important for bass fishing. It's very important for crappie fishing.
It's when the water gets colder.
Exactly. Who's ever been swimming out there in the lake? And you've been swimming and you're swimming along, and all of a sudden it's like colder in one particular area and warmer. It's like, whoo, that's a little chilly, right? You've basically put your body in the thermocline, where it's hot up here, but a little bit further down it's a little cold, all right? Now, if you go down a little bit further, guess what? It's going to be warm again. Absolutely. Great job. I didn't expect anybody would get that. But that thermocline is air conditioning for fish. All right? And we all love air conditioning in the summer. Am I right? Yeah. Right. Fish love it even more. Not only is it the nicest place for them to be, it's also the most oxygenated place. And the fish congregate there. So if we had one air conditioning in that corner of the room, where would we be doing this presentation? That's right. And if it was cold and it was heated, where would we be in the winter if we were doing this presentation? We'd be over by the heater because we're biologically connected to the earth. So you guys need to know these types of things that help fish basically be located. So now we know that we're going to fish this lake that we've never fished before at 20 feet, right? So we're going to go back to the charts. Then what we would do, we go to that chart. Here we are at Harrison Lake. So what I'm going to do on the internet, not only am I going to look to see the map of the lake and find the deep spots, which we know are right here, all right, 20 foot. And look at that. There's a really steep break right there. So I can guarantee you, all the fish in Harrison Lake in June and July are right there along this break. Okay, I could guarantee you we could drive there right now if it was June, July, August, and we would catch fish right there, knowing that all along this ledge, that's where the fish are going to go for that thermocline, to keep, safe, to find food, and we know that it is the first spot, and basically this entire arm, that all these fish are swimming away to try to find it. Right there's another good spot too, 25 foot. This would be a great arm to find the fish. The other thing I would do, if I was searching a lake that I've never fished for, I would go to the internet and I would type in what type of bait fish are in Harrison City Lake, all right? And the Kansas Parks and Wildlife Department and almost every wildlife department does a great job on their particular website listing what type of bait is in the lake, all right? So let's say that it says, this lake is predominantly filled with thin shad. Okay, that's the shad, because all fish eat shad. They don't eat minnows, they eat shad. That's the type of thing. So, thin shad. So if we take a look at thin shad, we'll go to Google Images, take a look at the images, see what that particular shad looks like, and we're going to see, oh my gosh, that particular shad is silver with a solid chartreuse stripe right through its gill plate. So what color lures are we going to use?
So,
Silver and chartreuse. Yeah, everybody know what color chartreuse is, right? It's that woman's sweatshirt right there. She's got a chartreuse sweatshirt. Yeah, buddy, you got a question?
In the springtime, what would you prefer fishing? Grass or like tree structure?
Well, you know what? It just depends on where you're at. Like I said, you need to do your studies on any particular lake. I know I saw that you guys are going down to Branson to fish a tournament, and I heard your buddy announcing, study the lake. Find out what type of structure's in there. Some lakes don't have weeds in them. Some lakes just have hardwood structure from when they flooded the lake. Other lakes have no hardwood structure, and they have nothing but weed beds. So you need to actually decide by knowing, going into it, and preparing yourself and having your poles already rigged that if this is a weed bed covered lake, what do we want to do? We want to fish baits that are hookless, like rubber worms and stuff. Then we can hide the hooks because we're going to be going through a lot of structure waiting for that thump. So we're going to be hitting a lot of things. But you know when you get that thump and it starts running, that's when you set the hook. So if we're fishing a lake that doesn't have a lot of weed beds and doesn't have a lot of hard structure, we're probably going to fish the edge of that structure. We're probably going to pull crankbaits. Am I right, guys? Bass fishermen? I mean, I fish for bass. Don't get me wrong. I've caught them. But, yeah, so that's an excellent question. So now that we know the bait color that we're going to use, we know that we're going to start this point. So what we'll do is, at this 28 point, we're going to zoom in. We're going to take our finger right there, all right, and we're going to hit a mark. All right, that's mark 97. So now we'll go back, all right, to that particular spot. And we know that that's our first spot right there. We're going to mark it right. That's the first spot that we're going to fish, all right? And then boom. So then we go up here like, well, if they're not there, they got to be right here, and this is 23 feet. So we mark that spot, all right? Then we hit back. Then we come back over here, said 25 foot right there by the dam. That looks like a wonderful spot. So we're going to mark that spot. So we already have a game plan before we've even driven to the lake. We know 4 or 5 spots because education is going to win tournaments. My man, yeah.
If you've marked it, how long will that mark stay there?
It'll stay there forever. All right, it'll stay there until you delete it, which there's really no reason to delete them. Unless, of course, you go to that spot and what?
Nothing else.
Don't catch fish, right? Yeah. So, and the neat thing about it is when you mark them, you can say, this is spot 101. Well, we're going to edit it because guess what? We caught a 9-pound bass off that. So we're going to edit it and we're going to name it. And we're going to type in 9-pound bass, January or June 22nd, 2020. I caught a 9-pound bass off that. So next year, what are you going to do in June? You're going to that spot to catch his brother. All right? So that's an excellent question. And the neat thing about your sonar units is most of them come with a little slot with an SD card that you can put in there and save numerous waypoints. These alone will save, like I believe, over 9,999 waypoints. You put an SD card in there of like 16 gigs and you can save like 10 million waypoints. All right. And the neat thing about the Garmin thing, that not only do they have the live scope, but they have different models that can basically be affordable for everybody. I mean, you know that they're going to be a little bit more expensive as you go up in size. But the neat thing about Garmin is their connectability. Okay? These particular things have the best connectability of any fish finder on the market. That blows away Humminbird, blows away Lowrance. All right? You can connect stuff to this, and you can do things on these computers that the other companies haven't even thought about yet. Okay, that's my sales pitch. I don't want to hammer it home. But if you're looking to make a change, I would highly recommend it. Neat thing about these sonar units, they also keep safety in mind. Garmin also has watches, okay? This is called the Quadix watch that hooks up to my sonar. You got a Garmin watch, all right, nice. So these hook up to the fish finders. So as I'm fishing away and I catch crappie, I can push a button on my phone or on my watch, and it sets a waypoint. All right. Also, if I decide to go swimming, learn this out the hard way, that if I stay in the water over 5 minutes, it sends an SOS signal to my fish finder, a man overboard. And when your son hits, yes, we need assistance, you have to pay that $700 that the Melbourne Fire Department pays you when they come screaming around the corner looking for a drowned man who's just a little tipsy. Forget I said that, kids. Gotta be 21 to drink. But anyway, another cool thing about this is, as you guys notice, I'm actually recording this seminar so I can critique myself. So everybody wave to the camera. All right, this is the Garmin Verb 360. So it's filming you guys and it's filming me. If you guys don't mind, everybody give me the thumbs up. I'll put this on YouTube. All right, if you don't have a thumb up, I'll blur you out, whatever. All right, cool. But basically, this particular thing hooks up to your fish finder. Okay? Hooks up to your fish finder so that you can put this in your boat. You can keep it running. And if you catch a fish, you can save that on your fish finder and it'll stop and edit at that particular mark. Another neat thing about the Garmin's are that if you, say you want to get in a live scope, it's kind of expensive. But you can buy a lower end model that'll actually accept live scope. And the cool thing about it is they have an app on your phone. It's called the Garmin Active Captain. And basically, just take your smartphone like this, all right, and you download the actual Active Captain app. It looks like that. It opens it up, okay, and then what you do, it gives you a bunch of choices. We can either go to the helm, we can sync with the chart plotter, and basically if I sync it with this particular chart plotter, I get two screens. My phone becomes this screen, and I can control my fishing unit with my phone or with my smart tablet. Anybody out there that's thinking about going Garmin and thinking about, well, I'd like to have that one. It's a little bit more expensive. It has a few features, but I don't know if I need it. Buy it. You know why? Because you can get two fish finders by purchasing one, because you can control this. So you take this fish finder, which is your 10-inch tablet or your smartphone, and you put it at the front, and that's basically mirroring that, kind of like how we're doing the mirroring of the screens on the television. And you can control this fish finder with this particular app. So you get two for the price of one. Isn't that kind of unique? I don't know of any other company that does that. So, all right, now, you guys ready for the test?